Storyteller to stage.
It's just storytelling. But it's going to be a bit different this week because I just started a new class.
Bit different, so it's like more of a comedic thing.
Yeah.
More comedic. Try to be funnier than just moment at the end.
And it's kind of good classic rim shots.
Classic rip shots.
So the theme is honesty and truth tonight, right? So in all honesty, I didn't think I was originally gonna make this stage anymore. I just started a new class downtown. It's on Mondays. It's called Standup 101. And some people ask me like why I'm taking it, because I do comedic storytelling here normally. I think I'm like a little baseline funny, but I think you can always improve. You know, you can always learn new instruments, get better at your existing instruments. Don't get complacent. So you guys can just join in whenever with either new instruments or your existing instruments that you keep getting better at. You really killed it on the flute. I enjoyed that so much tonight. But I think it's good to kind of like constantly refine and hone your craft. So I'm not a musician. I am very bad at many instruments. But Millville Music Festival is paying MCs nowadays. And I want to be kind of like punchier, kind of quicker on stage. Not just do like my long, drawn out like David Sedaris, Mike Birbiglia style comedic storytelling. So with the theme tonight, I'm gonna try to teach you guys how the sausage is made for basically trying to get better at comedy. So the classic quote is that stand-up, or specifically just jokes, like when you try to explain jokes. I'm literally in a class on Mondays, every Monday for the next 8 weeks, dissecting jokes, like looking at classic stand-up, understanding how a joke is written and crafted, and the classic quote about that is, explaining a joke is like dissecting a frog. You understand it better, but the frog dies in the process. It was not only that when I used to make video games. When I made video games, I couldn't play video games any longer. You kind of saw how the magic worked. It's like when you become a cast member at Disney and you like see them remove their heads, the magic is lost. Also happens at Anthrocon. You never see a furry remove their head. It's very depressing. The magic is lost, guys. So what I was honestly doing just before now, I was in the back room with the door locked, watching my 2 previous sets. So right after class, I went to 2 open mics before this, performed very similar material, revised it, listened to it while I was driving in the car between the open mics, like trying to improve each joke that I will tell you near the end of this. It's work, it's the work. You put the work in, everyone who performs on stage puts the work in. That's what it's like, that's the truth. It's not that, everyone thinks that people are naturally funny, naturally talented. People work. This is a craft that you hone. Okay. Also, I'm doing my homework assignment immediately because I was assigned for the first week to do a classic topical monologue joke. Like think Jimmy Fallon or Leno, but not Letterman or Conan. That's like too progressive, too alt comedy. Like real, like old school, like take my wife please, kind of like adjust your tie stand-up comedy. I think the younger people in the crowd don't realize, like the Gen Z people, there was like real late night wars. There was bad blood between Leno and Letterman, and then Leno and Conan, and a lot of Leno. It was like Taylor Swift levels of bad blood. Okay, so now let me shift into comedian mode and not storytelling mode. Gonna put the mic up here, gonna be like, okay, stand-up mode. So the classic thing is, you futz around with the mic a little bit. You do this thing where you put it behind you, or just like walk the stage a little bit. And then it's like, hey ladies and gentlemen, how are you guys doing tonight? How are you guys doing tonight? Let's give a big round of applause for the band. Big round of applause for Yoder, Jesse. You're pandering. And then you bring up with a classic thing like, hey, have you guys heard about that new diet craze? Have you heard about it? I'm not talking about Ozempic or whatever prescription diabetes medication we're abusing for vanity nowadays. I'm talking about that new inflation and recession diet. It's a twofer, guys. It's when you go into the grocery store and you only buy what you can actually afford. You can't take a line of credit out, you can't refinance your house, only what you can actually afford at the Giant Eagle. Not even the Market District, that's out of your budget. We're not in this economy, guys. It's guaranteed your waistline will not inflate. If anything, it's gonna recede to pre-pandemic levels. I'm talking about losing that COVID weight, ladies and gentlemen, because of starvation. So that is not authentic to myself. That is not actually the material I want to do. I am not trying to get a late night spot on Fallon. I'm just trying to like entertain people between actual talented musicians at the Millville Music Festival. My more authentic self, and this is honestly why they probably don't want me to do this, is like fuck capitalism and dumpster dive. Go behind the Market District, take like I don't know, a crowbar, bolt cutters, because they lock dumpsters now, guys. That's how bad the economy is. Get in that and grab whatever free food you can. Also, really, there are a lot, if you need aid, there's a lot of good resources in the area. But that's what classic stand-up comedy is like. Not the most. Okay, now let's shift it back. Let's shift it back to storytelling. Okay. Another thing is there's kind of like a few hard and fast rules of comedy, and one of them, and I'm not going to stand up for this because I don't want to say that I actually stand up for this. You're not supposed to do jokes that are not of your own ethnicity. So let's test to see if that is actually true and truthful with some extremely spicy, that I'm not going to get canceled for whatsoever, Jewish and Gaza jokes, the safest, most non-controversial jokes to do. Guys, it's fine. I love the chosen people. I love them so much that I made a JDate profile. I just love spending time in Squirrel Hill. I do have a lot of Jewish friends. I'm friends with Rabbi Chuck, you know, the former Rabbi of Tree of Life. Big Rabbi Chuck. Let's hear it for Rabbi Chuck. Yeah. Big Rabbi Chuck fans in the house. But I honestly do spend a lot of time with my Jewish friends. I get invited to a lot of the high holidays, but I really put an emphasis on high. It's their own fault for having Seder so close to 420. I'm not just partaking of the bitter herb, I'm partaking of the dank herb, the sour diesel, the Girl Scout cookie, the Wi-Fi OG, everything, all the herbs. Equal opportunity, decriminalized nature. But no, really, I relate to the Jewish people. We're both model minorities. Now this is the stuff I actually believe in. So we both focus on traditional families, our strong historic culture that is very influential. We focus on education and kind of like dodging and ducking the racism and bigotry by focusing on economic success. I think that's where the stereotype comes of like bankers and like Asians. Honestly, our stereotype is penny pinching, same as the Jewish people. And that's also why we have so many Chinese restaurants in Squirrel Hill. It's a symbiotic, mutually beneficial relationship. I think the only difference between Asians and the Jewish people, as everyone knows, the classic Asian stereotype is we're known for our giant dicks and being great at tall people sports like basketball. We got Yao Ming, Jeremy Lin, and as we all know, there is no other ethnicity that meets that stereotype. It's just us, Asians. And that, if there's one truthful lesson you take from tonight and spread around town, it's that Asians have giant dicks and are great at basketball. My name is Ja. I'll be emceeing at the Millville Music Festival. Please give it up a big round of applause for our musicians joining us tonight. Rimshot. Thank you guys.
Lord, Thanks for hanging around. We're going to bring up a very good friend.